Alrighty, we're gonna start slow here. I give people some time to show up because I don't. It's been a while since I have live streamed. This should be fairly interesting, though. I find it interesting, at least. Once again, in the retro gaming community, of course, there's drama. But yeah, I'm gonna chill for a second, wait for some people to show up in the chat, and then we're actually gonna start like looking at stuff uh because that's just how it goes. Yo, what's up? Uh, the whole reason why I'm doing this live stream is because just imagine you're on Twitter, which is probably one of the shittest places to be on. But, you know, there's sometimes interesting stuff on there. So, you know, I go to Twitter kind of to do like a combination of, I guess, like my shit posting and gaming stuff. Cuz it's Twitter. So, anyway, you know, imagine having an opinion on the price of something and then it turning into a debate that's about like licensing, which you never asked for in the first place. Like, I was literally just giving my opinion on the price of this thing, which should not be priced at what it is, but it turned into this whole debacle. And like the whole premise of this is like this is what's happening in a lot of different places in the retro gaming community. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to at least make people aware of it because I think that this is one of those things that people need to be aware of. Just my opinion. You know, especially if you are not privy to a lot of like previous generation consoles, then it's definitely more. Yeah. All right, let me see here. Is my audio working okay? That's the question for those of you who are in the chat. Is my audio actually working? Dear God. So far, so good. Okay, so there's no like skipping or anything like that. Because that's what I'm concerned about. Popping, skipping, things like that. I'm using OBS tonight, which is a big change for me because I have been using StreamYard for a while just because it was easy for me to just get in there and go live. But especially when I have guests. But yeah. All right, I really am not sure about about the name Short Bus Rosa Parks. Like it seems kind of trolly, so but clear as a bell. Okay. No offense, of course. I mean, you got to understand it's the internet, right? Okie dokie. Well, one day when I was on Twitter, oh God, it's gone. It would be. I would. How could I? Absolutely ridiculous. Nah, no trolls. It's a title I own. All right. Well, we're going to go back to Twitter here and figure out why we have no Twitter. Because of course, why would we? It would only make sense that it should be there when it isn't. But it says that we're there. So I don't know. Maybe nope, that didn't work. Dude, there couldn't be a better time for that to happen. Did you guys hear that? There couldn't be a better time. I'm going to open it, and it's going to be the person who made this thing, and they're probably going to stab me in the face. Perfect timing. Alrighty. Well, I'm just gonna try and get some twits on here, because I don't know what's going on, man. I'm trying to, like, literally right before the stream started, I checked this and it was on here and no audio problems, but apparently we have other problems. All right, so we're gonna add a new source here. Even though I really don't want to, I'm annoyed by the fact that I have to do this. Let's see. Edge? No? Oh my. I don't even know, like, what even is that? Interesting. This is like the most non-chatty live stream I've had. Is that it? No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is actually. That's it. Okay. Well then, I guess we've fixed that problem. Ha! Okay. All right, let me see what we got going on in the chat. JJ, question for you now that you've had your Nova Blast for a while, have a new screen, etc., how do you feel about it? Assuming my Nova Blast, yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now I want to talk about this, the diabolical tweet that ruined whatever that is. Neptune clone. So for those of you who don't know, all right, some really smart, creative guys were able to put together a Sega Neptune, which was a canceled system. And I swear to God, dude, it's taking everything inside of me right now not to just open the door and punch whoever's there. I don't care who it is. But yeah, so the Sega Neptune was a canceled system. All right, this is like in the 90s, okay? Because the Saturn was coming out. They were going to make a system that combined the Sega Genesis and the 32X. All right, sure, it's very convenient, especially for, you know, first-time comers who wanted to be able to play 32X games and Sega Genesis games, right? So Sega had like articles out. I mean, this was a legit thing that was going to happen. There was at least a couple prototypes built. It's actually not exactly known, but there had to be at least a handful of them. And you can look at them on Sega Retro, and they're going to look exactly like what you're seeing on the screen right now. What's up, Bo? And so exactly what you're seeing on the screen right now, which it's a great replica of the prototype, and it actually does what the prototype did and what the retail model would have done if it was ever released. But here's my problem with it. These guys on eBay are selling these things for, let's go down here and take a look, $2,499. Okay, so I saw this. It just showed up in my eBay feed because, you know, everything's an algorithm now. And I said, I fail to see how this is justifiable. That's literally my tweet. That's all I tweeted. I fail to see how this is justifiable because it's not. Like, I don't care if it's handmade or whatever. There's no way you can justify that because I know how much it costs to make one of those. And it's like $500, maybe $600 to make one of those. And on top of that, real quick, this guy over here, Kosam the Great, he's the one who actually engineered like the hybrid board that works with, like, uses actual Sega chips and works with the 32X components to create a Genesis that plays 32X games board. So there it is. But anyways, back to this. $2,500. Like, what? Who? Why? Like, why? And so anyway, all I did was just tweet this, okay? This is the important part for you guys to understand first. I just made a tweet that was criticizing the price. I don't see how it's justifiable. And chat, let me know if I'm crazy. Like, let me know what you think about $2,500 for something like this. Something that is a 3D printed shell with, you know, a custom circuit board, but I mean, they're PCBs, so, and so on and so forth, for $2,500, and it costs about $500 to $600 to make if you're doing it on your own. Okay, and that's assuming you don't have a 3D printer, because if you have a 3D printer, you can knock off about another $200 there. So there we are. And there it begins. And then this guy, Vincent, says, completely valid price, to be honest. And I said, after reading your toasting my balls tweet, I can assume that this is likely shrouded in sarcasm, right? Because he had this funny tweet that he unpinned, but it was like his laptop on his lap. And he was basically saying he's not going to have kids, so he was lowering his sperm count with his laptop. It was funny. But I just, you know, I usually do that when I see a comment like that because it's hard to read, and I'm like, I don't really know. So then he says, this is so fucking annoying, bro. I swear. Woo. That's making me lose my train of thought badly. You guys are going to have to hold on for just a second. I apologize. Okie dokie. Yeah, well, of course, the minute that I go to see who it is, they're gone. Whatever, that's okay. Anyway. All right, I was talking about this. I was reading down the chain here, And Vincent says, completely valid price, to be honest. And I said, you know, after reading your Toasty Balls comment, well, I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic or not. And he says, LMFAO, damn, I love that tweet. Nah, building the Neptune is a lot of work. I agree. I'd say it's justifiable. The artisan who took their name or their time to meticulously build it deserves to get fairly compensated. But bro, you're talking about a $2,000 compensation, okay? And nothing against what he's saying, that's his opinion, but you're talking about $2,000 of compensation for building this. Like, it's not $2,000 hard to build, okay? And then I said, for conversation's sake, why though? It seems asinine and it's not a licensed product. Really, anyone can build it, maybe shittier, but it could be better too. Either way, 500, maybe 800, profit margin. 2,500 is insane, in my humble opinion, when you could just buy a tower of power for $250 to $300. Just my 2 cents. Because you can buy the real Sega hardware for like $300, $350. So why would it make sense to build a pirated Neptune that doesn't even exist and pay $2,500 for it? Like, to me, I don't see the logic in it. But he's being super cool and we're having this conversation. And so it continues on. And he said, so I'm going to stick with his chain right now. He said, that's valid, but at the end of the day, there's enthusiasts and collectors who would certainly and have paid that amount. It's like the same argument as to why buy a tower when I could just buy a handheld emulator that could play all the Sega games and then some. And see, I kind of disagree there because you're buying a tower of power to play on real hardware. That's the whole point. It's the whole point. Playing on real hardware and native, like on a CRT or even if it's on an LCD. And I said, I guess I'm just too old to see the logic in it, or lack thereof. Like in the 90s, it would have been killer to have a Neptune, but now it's like neat. And $2,500, like, I understand what you mean and you're not wrong, but bah humbug or something. It's basically high quality China console debauchery. I mean, that's the way that I say it. Like, that's the way that I see it. So I don't know, man. Damage Control says, in this day and age, we can't read the rest of it. Oh. Let me upsize that there. In this day and age, anyone can build anything they want if they have the right parts and the right equipment. They are just feeding off the nostalgia strings of enthusiasts. I mean, and that's probably right. And JJ says, sounds like a greedy dog to me. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm like, this dude's just greedy. Like, he's like, I can do something that people think is cool or want, so I'm gonna like overprice the shit out of it, basically. That's the way that I see it. All right. So anyway, it was still not like a big deal. And then the last thing he says is, it breaches into a far level in response to my last comment, which is the system architecture is designed to run licensed Sega hardware. Or no, I said, wait, original PCB or not. Oh, nope, I skipped over something. Sorry. Okay, it breaches into a far level of niche, and honest to God, not one person on this planet needs a Neptune, but it won't stop people from buying it, and the market is only dictated by what people are willing to pay. I just see a person collecting their bag. And I said, oh, 100% agreed there. Sure. You could look at it that way, and I don't disagree. However, people can also be purchasing it for the wrong reason, like thinking it's something that it's not, like a prototype, or that it's, you know, refurbished or something. Like it could be a number of things. I mean, because me personally, as a gamer, as somebody who grew up in that era, like it seems really stupid to pay $2,500 for one of those. Like, that's just my opinion. That's just the way I see it. But anyway, so then we'll scroll back up here, and this was the next person that came in and started in on the discussion thread. And I gotta go. You'll have to excuse me because I need to reset this. At one point, the person selling it on eBay shows up and puts a mind blown thing and shows a picture of 24 bids, $2,471. Okay? Like, that was supposed to convince me that it's totally justifiable. And I'm like, nah. Even Destiny FOMO said they're insane. They're insane. It's not, they're likely keeping the post up for SEO. That's just comedy. Yep. Seeing the price, like, jump scared me with the price reveal. What the yikes. Bah! Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. And if you guys don't know who Destiny FOMO is, she's like a hardcore gamer girl and collector. And like, she knows, she has like a good gauge on things. So her saying they're insane just backs up exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous. Totally unjustifiable in my opinion. Okay, so moving on. I get into this next chain here. Well, so this guy trolls me, right? Like, the dude literally comes to my tweet. I guess it's a small world on Twitter. Comes to my tweet. Didn't even know he was on Twitter. Didn't tag him or anything. And then, you know, does the mind blown thing with that. And I'm just like, okay, bro, it could be shill bidding too. Like, people do that type of crap all the time, especially with retro stuff. And shill bidding, if you don't know what shill bidding is, it's where like you get other people to like bid it up for you, or you use like alt accounts and then you bid it up. So it's shady. And then, you know, let's go. So this guy, so I'm just going to presume that this guy right here might know that other person and they told him, or somebody told him though. Somebody saw the tweet, whatever. And so the Arter guy said, there was a comment before that where he basically said that it was a strange comment. Like, what I said was a strange comment, that it's not a justifiable price. The price is probably out of pocket IMO, but the shell alone is pushing 300. The PCB is usually around 60 to 100 depending on options. Donors are probably upwards of 200. Working 32X is 150 plus last I checked. eBay takes 15% and time is money. eBay does take 15% and time is money, but he just right there confirms the cost of it, the cost to make one. I said shell can be printed for low cost, less than $100. 32X goes for 120 to 150, further proving how insane it is to sell a pirated Neptune that never existed for 2.5K, LOL. Yes, it's cool. I doubt the community that created it thinks it's cool people are selling them for 2.5K. I mean, and I did this. We're trying to apply logic to something that's illogical, meaning their justification. And then he says, can you show me where to print the shell for under $100? That was the main thing stopping me from building one. I said, if you have a 3D printer or know someone who does, you can print your own. So, oh, this is the other one. He says, nothing China about it. These use original components with integrated 3BP for optimal video quality. The PCB and the shell were meticulously designed by a team of enthusiasts from all over the world, and which I totally commend the people who put this thing together, because it's a fantastic project. It's a really neat project. And the intention of them, I'm sure, though, like, I feel like wouldn't have been like, let's make this so that people can sell it for $2,500. That's how I feel about it. And then he says, very strange comment, or they, whatever, I don't know. And I said, why is it a strange comment? China made trash pirated Mega Drives all day long. In my humble opinion, this is even worse. Selling a non-licensed, technically stolen intellectual property and trademark infringement, Neptune. It's neat, but 2.5K is insane and greedy in my humble opinion. Selling someone else's unlicensed work. And I get that, like, I understand how it works, like, that you are using basically recycled Sega parts, but it doesn't change the fact that it's, at the very least, it's a dress infringement. He says, it's strange for the reason I stated. Comparing the project to the average piece of junk on AliExpress is something. The project license has no restriction against resale in this form. I agree that $2,500 is high, but people can ask what they want. Doesn't mean anything. I said, at this point, the comparison problem is about licensing and pricing, not build quality. AliExpress junk and custom Neptune both share the same core problem. They're unlicensed repros of Sega IPs. One may be polished, the other landfill fodder, but legal point of view, cut from the same cloth. And then he says, we're perhaps getting nitpicky at this point, but the PCB is a 100% original design. There was nothing repro there because it never existed. But it is repro because the Neptune did exist. And then I said, original PCB or not, the product as a whole is still trading on Sega's trademark, likeness, and IP. The fact that the Neptune never existed is exactly why this falls under unlicensed derivative work. The system architecture is designed to run licensed Sega hardware, too. And he said, I didn't realize I was conversing with an IP lawyer. I said, I'm just educated. But I tagged John Diamonin, who used to work for Arcade 1UP and was like their licensing guy, and who has like a long running history of licensing in the video game industry, including Capcom, Sega, Sony. I tagged him and I said, but John is an actual licensing expert and he agrees. John says the product 100% violates trade dress. And then, and then Messiah tags Sega and says, is this legal? I mean, that was pretty funny because I didn't see that coming. And then I said, Diamond, am I wrong here? And he said that price is some bullshit and unlicensed. Now, see, here's the thing. I don't care about people putting stuff like this together and selling it. I don't think like there's really like anything majorly wrong with, you know, look, it's a fine line. Okay. But what I'm saying, my criticism was of the price point of it, because I think it's ridiculous. And I can tell you why I think it's ridiculous in so many different words. And then for these guys to like start showing up, who, I mean, to me, this guy seems like he's trying to argue for it. And you can argue with me about the price all day and I'll be like, okay, well, yeah, people can sell it for that much if they want to, but it doesn't make it like legal. or it doesn't make it like justifiable that they're selling it for that price, it doesn't change anything in my opinion. But then you get into the licensing aspect of it and you're like, dude, they're straight up, they're profiting off of Sega's design now. It has nothing to do with the guys who made it, which again, kudos to them, props. I still think it's a cool concept, idea, and thing that people have the tools to be able to build now. The issue, you know, becomes about how people are like profiting off of it and like selling it for way too much. And that's something that happens in the retro gaming community quite often. This wouldn't be the first time. But if you know what? If people want to pay that much for it, fine, whatever, go ahead. But that's the territory that we went into. And then I made another tweet about that. So I made another tweet about that. Let me scroll down here. This is where, oh my God, dude. So, by the way, did you guys know that they released Mario Kart on Dreamcast? It's pretty sweet, actually. I made another tweet right here, and I said, wow, a whole that's supposed to be $250 off. Maybe try 90% off. And then, what a wonderful offer. And then, where is it? Oh, there's another one somewhere where the dude responded to me. It might be because I don't see it. But John D's response, of course, I retweeted and tagged them. And then they blocked me. After I did that, they blocked me. So I took a screenshot of it, of course, and I was like, wow, all because I said you're ripping people off. Then you send your guy to troll me, which took us into dress infringement territory, and then you gaslight me to justify your greed. Then you get called out by a licensing expert. Can't make this shit up. You can't. I can't make this shit up, guys. Like, I can't. There it is. There it is for you guys. So Nox Console Shop. Yeah, these watch out for these guys. Watch out for them. Because if they're willing to come on Twitter and basically like troll me and like try and defend their douchebaggery. Oh, this was the other thing. I had to screenshot it because he had blocked me. But he says, it's funny how you take troll bait, but don't comment on the confirmed bought and paid for sale that I posted. The price certainly wasn't made out of thin air, but also the market will decide what it sells for ultimately. SEO algo sends more traffic to the store page as well. So he's basically saying like, he's totally justified in selling it for what he's selling it for. And, you know, SEO, the same thing that the other guy mentioned. And I'm just like, dude, okay. Like, so your shill bid is what your shill bidding, you know, which that's just my observation. That's what I think it was. That's not to say that it actually was, but, you know, got it up to 2,500. So let me take a look at the comments here. This is the most BS thing. Profiting off Sega. They don't want you stopping the gravy train. I guess not. I mean, for them to come to little old me and like, you know, start saying all this, it's like, all right, so you got so butthurt, you trolled me, blocked me over a single opinion. Your market is probs just shill bid trash, and it's obvious. Now you're just overpriced. You look guilty, like a crybaby and coward. And then I said, SEO algo, LOL. Okay, boo. Like, dude, literally, it was just my opinion, and I was like willing to discourse with people. And then that's like what it turned into. Like, he showed up and started like getting all butthurt about it. Like, dude, I still am calling it for what it is. And I told him that. I said, you guys are overcharging people, like, period. So if they're willing to come to my Twitter and like, you know, basically like be super unprofessional about the whole thing, it's like, why would you say anything? Because then you're just bringing more attention to yourself. So just don't say anything, right? Like, it's just somebody's opinion of what you're selling something for, and it wasn't that big of a deal. When anyone blocks you, you know they lost the argument. Ass mad. Yeah, so that's kind of like where the whole thing ended up. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make a video and talk about this because at least then I can like show people what's going on and make people aware of the like level of unprofessionalism that these guys conveyed. And then just the fact that like they don't take it seriously. Like if he would have come to the page and had like legit discourse and like been like, look, you know, here's what we do, this, and this, and you know, there's like a price margin, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Well, at least he gave me, you know, like an answer that was like it was his reason for why. It was his reason for why. All he said was he showed me a picture of bidding that where it went for, you know, $2,500. And it's like, okay, dude, you guys could have shill bid that up and that's it. And then you get butthurt and then you block me. So yeah. I mean, what do you think, chat? Come on, what do you think? So does this use no. It's actual Sega hardware. I'm gonna show you guys right now, actually. It's actual, like it actually runs say Genesis and 32X games using proprietary, is that right? Sega hardware. Let's see. Let me make sure I've got desktop audio enabled for you guys. And then just let me know if it's too loud, okay? Oh, well, I can't even hear it, so did you guys hear it? I couldn't hear it. Snap. Let me take a look here. Blah, 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 blah. It says active. Oh, you dirty rat. You killed my brother. Oh. Oh, but it's not showing up there. What the H, dude? Let me see. You know, it might be muted up here. No, it's not. It's not muted up there. Longhorn Engineer. Yeah, see, I want to show you guys this because I was going to talk about it more. But it's not an FPGA. To answer your question, Bo, it runs on real Sega hardware. So if you guys are subscribed to Macho Nacho, you've probably seen this. If you're not, though, go check out his channel. I mean, he's a big YouTuber. And he does like just modding stuff pretty much. And he goes over the whole Sega Neptune thing. Sega canceled this console in 1995, which is correct. But you know, he gives you like kind of the background on it and then goes into how he was able to build it and get it all set up and whatnot. It's a good video. I think he's got a newer one on it as well. I cannot figure out why the audio for my desktop isn't working. I apologize, you guys. I guess that was the one thing that I was not prepared for. Oh, wait, capture audio. Maybe that's it. Oh, no. No? What the? Good God, man. Oh, there we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so, oh, there, it's gonna let me, let's see if it works, guys.
Which was supposed to be released during the fall of that year at a bargain price of less than $200.
Can you guys hear that? Because I can't.
The only problem is that this was so close to the introduction
of
Sega's next generation console, the Sega Saturn, that it eventually led to it being scrapped altogether. So the Neptune was never meant to be. At least that's what we thought. Some very talented folks in the modding community have been making Neptune builds for a while, dating all the way back to 2011,
just a little bit,
with prominent modders like Longhorn Engineer,
okay, there you go,
Infidelity,
better,
who really pioneered these Neptune builds. And up until recently, these builds
Alright, this is why I can't hear it.
Shells, which, while still very cool looking, is
but you guys can hear it so good.
This thing of beauty that you see before you is a Neptune replica shell, and it was created by a talented modder named Dan from the UK, who also goes by his online alias, Divisix. Dan worked with another modder by the name of PCB Assembly 99, who helped him troubleshoot the design with measurements and fitment information to ensure that a Neptune mod will in fact fit inside Dan's replica shell.
Okay, so we'll back up here a little bit.
And combo systems. There was a Sega CD and 32X add-ons, and combo systems like the CDX and XI.
Yo, the CDX though, that's pretty sick, dude. It's like, and it's so tiny. The CDX, or no, sorry, the XI is like, that's such like a weird concept. Like Sega made so many separate consoles and like variations. Like I think the Genesis has to be, and maybe the original NES, like the most varied amounts of models on those. Yes, perfect. Up. Okay, I gotta turn it up now. Make up your freaking mind, dude. Just kidding. Okay, we'll try that. But I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure like Sega and Nintendo made like the most variations of their consoles when it came to the original NES, Famicom, and then the Genesis / Mega Drive. So here we go.
But there was one combo system we never got, the Sega Neptune. Announced in 1995, the Neptune was a Sega Genesis with a 32X built in, but it...
Okay, so right there. That is Sega's design. The exact same thing that you're seeing from these guys. Which, fine. Okay, cool. Like, that's why the community all put their heads together to make this thing, right? But there it is. And there's several different articles in gaming magazines about it.
Never saw the light of day. So in today's episode, we'll do what Sega never did and build one of our own.
Yeah, so Macho Nacho, he's pretty cool. He does a lot of cool stuff with Dreamcast too. All right, so I am going to take us to about right here.
And that's building my really excited to show you a project that I've been planning to make a video on for a long time. And that's building my very own Sega Neptune. So just a brief history, the Neptune was a console that Sega announced all the way back in 1995, which was supposed to be released during the fall of that year at a bargain price of less than $200.
Which means like those things were done. Like they were good to go. Yo, who did the memberships? Received Booty Tang. Yo, thanks, Booty Tang, for the 10 memberships. It's much appreciated. Shout out to Booty Tang. All right, so on we go. And by the way, you guys, this is not the Neptune thing. Once we're done with this, I have more to talk about. Different subjects, okay? Because I don't go live very often, so we're going to keep it going. Thank you again for the memberships, Booty Tang. Booty Tang. Everybody say thank you, Booty Tang. Ooh, he also said he'd take 20 of those Neptunes. All right.
The only problem is that this was so close to the introduction of Sega's next generation console.
That's another thing too. Less than $200. Okay. So, like, if you're going to make something like that, like, try and get at least kind of close to the price that it would have been, so that maybe like it's a little bit more appealing to people. But I mean, like, I'm sorry, 2,500 is so greedy, so unnecessary.
The Sega Saturn, that it eventually led to it being scrapped altogether. So the Neptune was never meant to be. At least that's what we thought. Some very talented folks in the modding community have been making Neptune builds for a while, dating all the way back to 2011,
which, oh, hold on, I have never heard anything about this. Bo, what? Where have you been, bro?
Prominent modders like Longhorn Engineer and Infidelity NES, who really pioneered these Neptune builds. And up until recently,
yo, Infidelity does some crazy stuff.
These builds retained the Genesis Model 2 shells, which, while still very cool looking, is not as cool as this. This thing...
Yeah, so that was originally how they were casing them, was, and you still can put it in a Genesis shell, like I think Model 2 shell. I don't know. I've actually never looked into if they can fit in a Model 1, or if they have a design for Model 1. I don't know. But I like Model 2 was always how I saw it.
The beauty that you see before you is a Neptune replica shell, and it was created by a talented modder named Dan from the UK, who also goes by his online alias, Divisic.
Of course he's in the UK. So many good modders in the UK.
Dan worked with another modder by the name of PCB Assembly 99, who helped him troubleshoot the design with measurements and fitment information to ensure that a Neptune mod will in fact fit inside Dan's replica shell.
So there you have it. You've got all these different guys who've essentially, like, you know, worked over the years putting this kind of like project, it's, you know, community project, putting it together. And the outcome was a working Sega Neptune. Can't believe people bid one up over 2,000. See, I don't think people really did bid it up over 2,000. 2,500. But hey, that's just my opinion.
You could say that Dan is a...
But explain to me what the point of paying 2,500 for one of those is, when if you want to play on original hardware, you just buy a frickin' Model 2 Tower of Power, dude. Like, Jesus. I mean, even if you're a collector, it's not official anything. Is it cool? Yes, it's very cool. But $2,500, no.
Sega enthusiast, and as you could imagine, he was pretty bummed when Sega decided to cancel the Neptune. So, 27 years after the console's initial announcement, Dan had decided he would make his own, resulting in this masterpiece. Alright, so in this video, I'll go over all the parts I'll be using to...
So he's going to walk us through basically the entire build process. And I don't want to, like, you know, take you guys through the whole thing. So I'm going to try and jump through and kind of like go to the key parts. And he's going to talk about like some of the differences on the Genesis boards and stuff like that, which are mainly apply to like video things. But I think it's the Majesco model that had like the best video output.
By looking through the bottom vents. Next, you'll need to get a triple bypass board. I'll be using this one from Zaxor, who not only makes a quality triple bypass chip, but other awesome mods as well that I've previously showcased on the channel. Definitely check this stuff out. Now, while not completely necessary, I'll be using these DIN breakout boards for the Model 2 Genesis and 32X AV port. This will make the internal wiring between the Genesis and 32X quite a bit easier. You'll need 3 of these. This 90-degree cartridge slot will replace the original vertical one on the Genesis and enable us to mount the 32X horizontally inside.
That's a good question, Mikey. Good question. All right, so I'm gonna kind of skip over some of this. But yeah, so you can see, I mean, there's work that goes into doing it, you know, but also it's like, if you're not the type of person who's a modder, like, why would you pay so much to have somebody do this type of work on it? Like, there is work that goes into it, but it's not like a massive amount of work. I mean, that's just from my perspective. That's interesting. That's interesting. FPGA is kind of a cool idea just because, you know, then obviously it's not going to be as expensive. Probably not. All right, so now they're using donor boards. When they say donor boards, they're talking about Genesis boards. Now, Kosum the Great, he created a completely custom Neptune board, which is like an actual different beast than what Macho Nacho's doing here. So he goes into all the detail about, you know, part swapping and what you have to do. He shows you exactly how to do it. And here's one of the interesting parts where he goes into detail about the hook, basically plugging in the 32X.
Then place the whole assembly into the Neptune shell, and we can see that we do indeed have adequate spacing between the Genesis and 32X boards. And inserting a game feels solid, so we can go ahead and proceed to the next step, which is soldering in our terminated power cable for the 32X.
So there you have it. Now, if you haven't checked this video out, I would recommend going and checking it out. I'm going to leave a link in the comments and description for you guys. And it's definitely worth a watch. And his latest one, or his newer one as well. But right now, yeah, I guess I'll kind of taper this off with I personally do not agree with somebody selling, you know, a replica of an unreleased Sega console for $2,500. That doesn't mean I don't think like they should be compensated for the work they're doing, but it's a slippery slope with something like this. I mean, you guys let me know what you think. And if anybody in here is experienced with this kind of stuff, I mean, you should be able to gauge it too. But if we go and actually look at like the pricing of all this stuff, it does not cost even over $1,000. Mikey says, I watched this video a while back. I think at the end he said it was very expensive for the shell. Yeah, the shell is one of the more expensive parts. I think they're about $300 maybe for all the parts. And then in some cases, I think you have to like actually paint it, which is like not that difficult to do. But if you don't know what you're doing, it probably is. But they're not like they're supposedly 3D printed, the expensive ones. So yeah, extremely overpriced. I agree. I would stretch it and say like look, at the very, like, the most I could see is like 800, maybe 1,000, but then you're still paying tax on it and all these other things, and I'm just like, dude, that is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And again, like, in my mind, you know, I have like the logic of playing on the original hardware, which, you know, I prefer. And I get that the original hardware is in there, but what happens if the system takes a shit? Who's going to fix it? There's nothing you can do with it. It's not going to be easy to replace those parts. It's not going to be inexpensive to replace those parts. Like, these guys aren't selling it with a freaking 1-year warranty or anything. And that's another thing. You know, there's no guarantee that the thing is going to last more than a year, especially when you're using donor parts. So that's another thing to consider. And they're charging $2,500. For $2,500, it should be coming with like a freaking 5-year warranty or something. Like, it's insane, dude. It's insane to me. All right, let's see if we can catch that spot where he kind of talks about the shell,
which enable us to actuate the power and reset buttons on the motherboard without having to relocate them. Now we can go ahead and drop the top shell onto the system and then button it all up. To install the CD Sega water slide decals to really add just that bit of authenticity to the build.
authenticity. See, now doing this is a completely different thing. Building it on your own, you know, you do it, you mod it, you put it together. I think that's why, like, all these people in the community did it, was so that people who could do it had everything that they needed for it. Not so that they could put it together and sell it for $2,500. But again, that's just my opinion. Anyway, you guys, watch out for Nonk's console shop. And I mean, if they're gonna like come at me like this and get so butthurt, like, then who knows what their customer service is like. And I'm telling you right now, if something goes wrong with that system, you're gonna be up shit's creek after paying $2,500 for it. Man, it better have immaculate cord management and soldering and a sparkling clean board. Yeah. And I honestly, like, that would be a better option because it's probably going to be less expensive and more reliable. Long term, more reliable. But yeah, watch out for those guys. I would not recommend paying $2,500 for something that isn't, like, doesn't have any long-term support. Who knows what their customer service is like, you know, so on and so forth. I want to know where the guy is that paid that price for it. I would think he would post about it. Yeah. Yep. You would think. I don't know. Maybe they did. You know, maybe somebody really did. What's funny is I wonder if anybody has actually purchased one thinking that it was like a prototype or that it was like refurbished or something of a prototype. But I don't know, man. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So one of the other things I kind of wanted to like lead into, and And you know, you guys keep talking about the Neptune. Whatever, if you guys have opinions you want to share or whatever, is some of the other things that are going on in like the retro gaming community. And I saw something interesting in, I think it was Home Arcade as well. But to answer, JJ asked me a question at the beginning of the stream. Oh wait, no, that's not it. My bad. Oh, I didn't even see that. Long time no see. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so JJ asked me this. Let me answer JJ's question because he's been patiently waiting. He says, question for you. Now that you've had your Nova Blast for a while, have a new screen, etc., how do you feel about it? Assuming they now have the kinks worked out, is it worth buying? Dude, look. If you're patient and you know how to work with, like, you know, PCBs and all the arcade stuff, and you're looking for something like that, I like it. I personally like it. I don't really like Unico that much, or their customer service is questionable, I think, at best. And who knows, like, my thing with this is, like, how long is it gonna last for? You know, how long before the screen goes out again, or some other weird technical difficulty. Do I like it? Yes. Do I think it's a cool platform for the price? Yes. It feels nice to sit in front of a big monitor and play arcade games like they were meant to be played. So I like that aspect of it. But you know, I have other arcade cabinets as well. But this is the great thing about candy cabs, is they're super universal. When it comes to anything that uses joystick and buttons only, even like gun games and stuff. So it was probably the Super Sega team that bought it. eBay can be funny with people upbidding items to artificially inflate the pricing. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to tell, though, if it's coming from, like, different places, you know? Oh, that's that shill bidding for you. Shill bidding. Okay, so to, like, really answer your question, JJ, I would not recommend it, because I don't want to recommend it to anybody and then they, like, absolutely hate it, or they have absolutely, like, the most dog shit experience ever. Does it work for me? Yes. Do I like the experience that I had trying to get it to where it should have been when it first got delivered to my door? No. So I hope that answers your question if you watch this. Yeah. JJ says, Unico seems to have stepped up their shipping and customer service. From what I can see, if they have a long warranty on the monitor, then that's a bonus. You can connect a PC running Batacera, etc., right? You can, yeah. You can connect a PC. I don't know if they have a long warranty on their monitor. Unless there's something new that I don't know about. But I don't know. I wouldn't trust Unico. I don't trust Unico. Like, I just did not have a good experience with them with that. And I really tried to be like cool about it initially, but whatever. You know, to be honest with you, like it could just be me. I don't know. But I know in the comments, like if you read through the comments in those videos that I released about the Nova Blast, there are a lot of people, a lot of people expressing frustration. And I still am getting, occasionally getting comments in there. $90 at most. That's what I would think, Bo. That's what I would think. It's great. I love it. It's awesome. It does what I want it to. There are some things that are kind of quirky on it, but it does what I want it to, and it works how it's supposed to for now. But yeah, and the other thing is too, you have to remember, like when they ship them out, if you get a damaged unit, it's gonna take a while to replace it. Like I only got mine because I made a video and then they were like, dear God, dear God, it has like, 6K views in the first 24 hours. Like, no. And then all of a sudden they cared. Like, but I got told initially, like, pretty much you can wait. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So then I'll just talk about it how it is. I didn't say that to them, but I mean, that was just my thought process. Like, I'll just talk about it how it is, how I got it, because obviously I'm not the only person experiencing this. Like, I looked on Reddit. I mean, you guys saw the video, for those of you who did. So, yeah. Nah. Yeah, home arcade. So I still talk to Glenn, and I saw he actually released a video with he's got like an auto rotating screen setup in his GRS cab, which is cool. I thought that was like really cool. I was like, auto rotating. See, with this thing, you got to take the bezel off, then you got to rotate the screen to get it into tape mode. And so it's a little bit more work. I'm not like complaining about it because that's how you would do it anyways. But technically, like some of the old candy cabs like opened up from the front, whereas this one you got to take off the bezel and then, then rotate the screen. So that's different. But not too different. Anyway, Glenn has a rotating screen in his full-size GRS Cade, and I guess those things are going into production soon, so that's cool. And also Iconic, I guess, released some footage of their UI for their Street Fighter stuff, which is also cool, man. Right on. And I think it was, well, Arcade went up. Somebody was talking to me about, this was a while ago actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but they had like a Hello Kitty claw machine, and I might have even talked about this on a live stream, and I was like, dude, their marketing is like on point. Like they're just marketing to the right crowd. Anyway, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to watch the reception of those things, because that's such a niche community. Like, if anything, the community watching it from the outside is like so interesting to me, because it's like watching kind of like a science experiment. That's so weird. So weird. Such a weird community. But yeah, there's some cool stuff. looks like there's some like pretty cool stuff coming over there, so that's neat. Nothing that I'm gonna get. I like don't need anything. I mean, I've got my multicade, I've got this thing behind me, and then in my garage I've got 4 different cabinets, which, by the way, I actually put my Killer Instinct Pro PCB, well, PCBA, inside of a full size Killer Instinct cab now. So that actually turned out pretty cool. Sorry, I just saw this. Riddick! If a real prototype of the Neptune from the 90s found its way onto eBay, it still wouldn't be worth $2,500, but hey, at least that thing is probably more functional than the Coleco Chameleon was. Rah! But you know, I was talking to someone about that, and I was like, dude, yeah, I was like 2,500 maybe if it was like an actual prototype. But if there's only 1 or 2 prototypes out there, then I could see it going for quite a bit more. I mean, people kind of lose their mind over that stuff. It's like the, you know, sealed copies of Mario Brothers or whatever. It's, I don't know, man. But dude, Riddick, you're like Mr. Sega, man. Which, by the way, hi, because I never see you or get to talk to you. So you're in my chat right now. Hey, hi. If you guys don't subscribe to Riddick's YouTube, go check him out. I do like little clips of him in my videos all the time. And Bonky Donk, that's right. And yeah, his channel's awesome. It's fun. So, but dude, tell me what you think about the whole 2,500 thing from these guys on eBay. I mean, it's absurd, right? It's totally absurd. And are you in the same ballpark as me where like it just logically doesn't even make sense? It's like I like my Tower of Power. I like the 32X Model 2 plugged into the Sega CD, you know? And yeah, dude. Yo, what up, girl? I have to start the stream over. I missed you. Well, thanks for stopping by. I showed off your tweet. I was like, see, even she thinks they're freaking nuts. But yeah, it's utter insanity. And Riddick, I'm still curious. Like, seriously, dude, the Tower of Power all the way. That's how I feel. Like, it just seems insane to pay that much money for a Neptune anyway. For anything that's like really custom like that. Yeah, it's flat out ridiculous. And then the shill bids. The shill bids, how dare you? How dare they? They try and gaslight me. I don't mind the Tower of Power as long as I have a power adapter that does all 3. Yeah, I've seen those on Amazon. It's very convenient. I'm always like scared though, because that's when it, like, the Sega CD is so finicky if you use the wrong power adapter. It scares me. Riddick says the whole charm of it is having all those add-ons together. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then, you know, you got these guys like kicking down the door with $2,500, dude. Can't even they couldn't even justify it. They're just like the market value bids. Blah. Anyway, I don't know, man. You know what? I could go on all day about the retro gaming community and just like the debauchery that goes on in the community. Like, it's insane. And I would just be ranting. I would be ranting the whole time. It's like Voltron. It all comes together to make the Tower of Power. See, maybe that's where the disconnect is. There's like a generation that just has no idea. They don't get it. They don't know the difference between die-cast Voltron and plastic Voltron, and then you know, 2000s Voltron, which is total trash compared to die-cast Voltron, right? Totally contrasting things. 5 mini line bots. Yep. I like that making fun. Oh yeah. Yeah, Riddick. That's like one of my favorite character things that you do. So, dude, I'm totally going to get off track here. I don't know how long I have been live for. Just a little over an hour. That's it. That was quick. But again, the whole point of this was just to educate people. I just want you guys to know, watch out. And also, that's total bullshit. So don't fall for it, in my opinion. And show you like just, you know, how these people are. I like having dealt with a lot of people that have that kind of attitude and persona in, you know, what, it doesn't matter, like just the gaming community in general. It's always like the same outcome. Like people are either civil, they show up to like have a conversation and try and make their point, or they start to get like disrespectful or act like kids. And it's like, dude, we can shit talk, but like there's like friendly shit talking, and then there's like butt hurt baby bitch shit talking. And it's like, I don't like, if you're gonna gaslight me and like try and play me like I'm stupid, it's just not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Let me see. I had some die-cast Transformers too before they changed over to plastic. Those are the good old days. I think Neon Witch sounds better. I'm gonna stick with Glitch. But I am kind of witchy. I'll own that. It's a turnoff when people are like that. I agree. I agree. Like, dude, I could go head to head with somebody and we could not agree on a point. But if they're civil the whole time, I'm just like, cool. Like, that's it. That Vincent guy that I was originally talking to in the thread, I was like, cool, yeah. Like, you know, appreciate the time. Same thing with the Arthur guy. Like, I didn't have any beef with him. Like, I totally disagreed with what he was saying, but he was, you know, still pretty civil about it. So for like the store seller to show up on my Twitter and be like, "Yeah," was just nah. FG Depeche Mode. Depeche. You new subscriber? New subscriber here to the channel? We do lots of fun stuff here. Mostly content. You guys think I should go live more? I was seriously considering this. Like, should I go live more? I was thinking about doing like live streams in the morning where I do like gaming streams. And I was like, maybe. But I don't know, the times might be off. And then I was thinking like that I should just do like a live once a week and then make a video out of it. Well, I don't know. Yes, I should go live more. That's 3 yeses. Yes, I missed this. I know, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Yes. But I might have to like start figuring out like a schedule for this. I was thinking about covering though like more stuff that's going on in retro gaming. Like for example, Smash JT, the whole anti woke movement, which has now become exactly what it hates, which is like anti cancel culture. Somehow it became what it hated. Like stuff like that I think would be like really fun to talk about. Um because it's so contradictory. It's so strangely contradictory. Um but yeah, like do a live, make a video out of it, or like, separate news video, something like that. Kind of like updates, I don't know. I'm being ranty, but I'm just like I'm think tanking right now. I'm think tanking, and you guys are think tanking with me. We're all thinking together. This chair is so trash. It's just so old. I think I've had this chair for like 5 years now, and it's so creaky, so creaky. It's not creaking now. It would normally be creaking so loud. Wow, this is weird. We're living in a simulation, guys. It's the simulation. Yeah, I agree with many of their points, but they hate on everything, and that is when you can't uh that is when you can't always go with their mindset. A lot of booty miles on that chair. Dude, a lot of booty miles, like frequent booty miles. Dude, here's my thing. When you contradict yourself like repeatedly, you lose credibility in my eyes. Like the amount of like contradictory statements that I've seen made by so many people, and like Stuttering Craig, like what happened to Stuttering Craig, dude? I kind of thought he was like a cool dude, and then he's like, "Bro, if you're a normal guy or a normal man, like bruh, like dude, we're freaking biological slime living on a planet that could get jacked by an asteroid any day, and like everything would be dead. Normal? Sorry. Like when I think of normal, I think of people who don't murder people and who aren't like predators. I'm like, okay, if you're not either of those two things and you're not like infringing on people's space, then that's all right. That's cool. uh I know Ghost of Yote may be woke, but I can't wait to play that. See, that's another thing in games too, is like, why is everything in movies, like why is everything woke? Why? Like why is it woke? I don't even think people know what woke means anymore. Like the way that like liberals were using the word woke, like they didn't even know what it meant. And then now conservatives don't even know what it means, like the actual definition and meaning behind it. It's just like this he said, she said, versus thing, and it's like, dude, if you're just going to be on the other side of the rails with zero tolerance, then you're just causing the same exact problems. It's just the same thing repeating itself over and over, just in different degrees, to different degrees or on different settings per se. All right. I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe this quickly, but I mean, I guess it's kind of like an algorithm that talks to itself, and it's just doing the same thing on different settings over and over again, like fractal infinite number of settings. Nobody ever wakes up to like what's going on. Stuttering Craig is okay in small doses. It's annoying. Current times blow ass. I want my 80s and 90s back, damn it. I know, seriously, man. I mean, at least then, like, we had, yo mama jokes, we had, console wars, but it was like everybody was cool. It was all like within tolerable levels. And now it's just like everything's on the internet. So once that's there, it's just that's what it is. Unless you say that didn't mean it that way or whatever. But nobody wants to back down either. Nobody wants to like correct anything. They're like, I said what I said, and I mean it that way. And I'm angry. I'm super pissed because there's all these stupid gay trannies everywhere, and they're dumb and they're gay and they look like women, but they're not, and I don't like that because they give me a boner. I mean, yeah, I'm just calling it for what it is. But then they put everything into like a category and a label, you know. Like, bro, that stuff is for maybe like like criminal activity. Uh Nobody was overly sensitive. We all had fun and nobody cared otherwise. Right. Exactly. You know? We could all just be retarded and nobody cared. It wasn't a big deal. Because there was just an understanding that it was just we were just being retarded, right? And having fun. And there was no harm intended to anybody else. And even if somebody did do something that made somebody else feel bad, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Not a big deal," you know? And then usually people would be cool about it. JJ says, agreed. Like I told my daughter when she came out, I don't care who you sleep with as long as they treat you well and you are happy. That's really sweet, JJ. But it also made me laugh. Anyone else play the Mortal Kombat 2 3DO port? The neon arcade background was an awesome addition. Hey, I'm glad you liked it. That was like kind of like a last minute thing. That was a fun little project though. Great port for that console. I mean, just one guy. Insane. Exactly. Oh man, seriously though. I still need to do a video on that. I need to get an ODE so I can try it. Oh, does your CD reader not work? The new Shinobi game, yeah. Oh, by the way, Turbo Kid on Switch. For those of you who've seen who hasn't seen Turbo Kid in the chat? If you haven't seen Turbo Kid, press 1. Because Turbo Kid is like the shit. It came out in 2015 and that film is just special. But Turbo Kid, the game, was a Kickstarter. It was just released on Switch this month, and I think other platforms as well, like Steam and whatever. Anyways, the game is so great, guys, and it's very like retro style, and the story is like canon. So you guys haven't seen Turbo Kid? Oh my god, you guys, what? All right, hold on a second. Let me see. Can't believe you guys haven't seen Turbo Kid, for the love of God. Oh. Turbo Kid. All right. We're going to watch the trailer right now. Turbo Kid. All right, Turbo Kid trailer. Dude, Michael freaking Ironside is in it. Okay, is the audio good? I want the audio to be good for you guys. Just confirm audio is good. Doom SNES limited run. I know, next year. Okay, all right, I'm going to show you guys this because you guys need to watch this. It's on Amazon Prime, okay? I don't work for Amazon. I don't particularly like Amazon, but it's on Amazon Prime. So if you have Prime, you can watch this. And here we go. I'm going to play this trailer for you guys. You need to see this.
I will destroy you with my turbo glove, the ultimate weapon against the robot threat. But to be a true hero, you'll have to save your girlfriend.
Hey, what's that in your hand?
It's a comic book.
What's it about?
It's about a turbo rider.
That's rad.
I always wonder what the other side looked like.
It's kind of gray and dusty. Well, I could show you.
Around here, we like to do things with a little more joie de vivre.
Where is she? Release the girl!
This is gonna get ugly.
As you may know, the situation is critical. We have reached maximum casualty level.
Who exactly are you supposed to be?
Turbo rider.
This is it, soldier. We have to hit these damn machines with everything we've got.
Find them, kill them, and knee back their heads on pikes.
I'm meeting up with an old mate. We're going straight to Zeus. What do you say? Let's roll.
Bro, if you guys have not seen this, you need to watch it.
Fate
Oh my
of our
god.
future is in your hand.
You know how much they made this
She could have been
movie?
more like the real turbo rider.
But you could totally be Turbo Kid.
They made this movie for $66,000. Like, Michael Ironside's in it. I mean, I just was like blown away. I think I first saw this. It was right before or during deployment. I can't remember. But I was just like, oh my god. I instantly fell in love with it. Instantly. So if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. And the game that just came out is actual like canon storyline to the film. And allegedly there's a second film in production. So if they actually pull that off, it'll be really cool. But it's a one-of-a-kind movie. Gotta see it. I love the gore. You are welcome. More cowbell. Toxic Avenger style movies, yeah. What's up? Sathius? Is that how you say it? Sathius? Hello, hi. All right. So, yeah. That's Turbo Kid, and then like Switch, whatever, Steam sequel game, not expensive either. And I think they're still taking orders for the physical edition on Switch maybe. But yeah. Yes, I got it. All right, cool. Being in the service, how do you feel about the SIG situation, Britta M9 never accidentally shot nobody? The SIG? I haven't heard about that. You talking about SIG 9? Or I mean, I've been out for too long. 2018. But rephrase it so I can understand, because I'm dumb right now. I gotta get going. Mikey, it was great having you here. Thanks. And yeah, dude, check it out. Check out the movie. For what game? that you're talking about for Switch. Oh, Turbo Kid. It was just released. So, which is like kind of the sequel to the it's the sequel to the film, or at least canon to the film, I should say. Someone shot his friend and claimed the gun went off on its own. Yeah, that's not something that happens. The gun no. Definitely will. Oh, okay. New military sidearm. Okay. Accidentally can go off. How? Okay, first of all, how would you shoot your friend? Because we know in the military that we have 4 weapon safety rules. 5, there's the secret one. But treat, never keep, keep. And you'd never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. So that is the real question. Why was he violating a safety rule? I blame his leadership. The good old days of being handsy with Marines because there's being idiots. I miss those days sometimes, not gonna lie. Okay, so I'm definitely going. I need to figure this out, guys. I definitely do want to stream more and talk about this kind of dumb shit that's going on in the gaming community, because it really is entertaining. Like I truly find it entertaining. I think I saw a post from Smash JT the other day that said, because even though I'm not following him on Twitter, his stuff randomly shows up in my feed. And of course, this one showed up, and it was like, the term transgender is derogatory. And I was like, okay, term Smash JT is derogatory in my opinion. Like, mentally unwell is the term that should be used, like, is what he said. Like, okay, bro, calm down. The military needs to bring back the M9. P320. Yeah. That's what I had. Limited run Doom special edition sold out in the first hour. Yeah, I know. I actually tried to snag one against my will, but I couldn't like check out. And so I was just like, whatever. Because it's like not that big of a deal. I mean, to me personally, I think it's really cool though. Like the guys who put it together. I say this about a lot of companies in case you guys haven't noticed, but I don't really care for limited run a lot. But that doesn't mean that I don't support the people who come from the gaming community who are creating, you know, some of the stuff that they're creating, like Doom for SNES, for example. That normally doesn't happen unless you squeeze the trigger. You should have safety on. Yeah, right. Keep your weapon on safe until you intend to shoot is another rule. So that's technically 2 rules that are violated there. But has anyone played Dragon's Quest? No. Just wanted to know if it was any good. You know what? And some of you RPGers might hate me for this, but I never was hugely into the Dragon Quest series. And I love Akira Toriyama's art, by the way. But I think I just played like more of like Final Fantasy. Definitely like a lot of the JRPGs on a lot of the other JRPGs on SNES, and then I don't know why I never really got into it. Not because it's bad or anything. is he still going after her? I think he's still making videos about her, but I mean, it's like, look, when you go to fact check all this stuff and you like look at what's actually going on, like from both sides, from multiple sides, like it doesn't look good for him. That's my opinion, but like, I mean, I always research everything when I see stuff like that, because you know how it is. Like, people only want to show their side of the story. And I'm like, I'll show you all sides of the story. All sides. But yeah, I don't, it didn't look like he's making as many videos about her. When that tweet showed up in my feed, I went to his thing and it was like a lot of other stuff. I tried to snag the 666 copies too, but well, blue card is cool. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, first doom I ever owed myself. Good memories. Oh, that you okay? Yeah, I think I mean, I definitely played it off floppy disks in a computer lab, because my PC didn't have a math coprocessor. So only Dragon Quest I tried was the first game, which was Dragon Warrior. Tapped out after that. Oh, and yeah, I gotcha. But yeah, so I don't know if like it just got quiet because from what I saw, like in the court docs, they're basically like, they both have to like sit down and have a conversation about things, and I guess they basically agreed that before the court proceeds any further, they wanted to wait for like the court's finding on whether or not they were gonna allow the lawsuit to even move forward. And so that was the last thing that I saw, which I think was towards the beginning of this month. It's been quiet, but yeah, the lawsuit's still going. And I know that he's asking for like a lot more money. This is something that I totally don't agree with. Like, you got yourself into this mess, and now you're asking the community to give you a bunch of money. You're getting thousands and thousands of dollars in donations. Well, he's also like smearing, Mercante, and there's just something, I just don't think it's just really irresponsible. Like, he made this mistake and now it's not a fraudulent lawsuit. I mean, and it's not for him to say it's a fraudulent lawsuit, because it's a lawsuit now. So that's like really for the courts to determine. But saying all the things that he's saying and deferring responsibility for it and being like, guys, donate to, I don't know. I just personally, my opinion is that that's scummy. Of new Shinobi art of vengeance. The game looks dope. I definitely need to get that one. Battlefield 6. Oh man, they're still making Battlefields. That game's like COD. Battlefield is a little bit, well, they're just two different games, I guess. But comes out soon, yeah. Games like that I usually always end up getting on Switch. And I don't think I told anybody on YouTube, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen it. My brother actually sent me a Switch 2 and like a fat GameStop card that had like hundreds of dollars on it, just out of the blue. And total surprise. Like, I had no idea, because I told him, I was like, I'm not getting a Switch 2 for a while. Like, I don't, it's whatever. I mean, like, they're cool. I have no hate for them, but I'm like, I'm just not buying one right now. And so anyway, he ended up sending me a Switch 2 with the Mario Kart bundle, and then a huge GameStop card. So I got like Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and one other game. What was the other game I got? I don't know, guys. I can't remember. And then I bought No Man's Sky because it was like $37 and you get a free Switch upgrade, Switch 2 upgrade. Biblical. I love it when Bo says biblical. Switch 2 is your first Switch. Wow. Well, I mean, it's a good place to start. Yeah. God damn, dude. My like neighbors today are wiling out, man. Like, Lord. Got people knocking on my damn doors during my live streams. Ringing the doorbell. Doom and Doom 64 is awesome on the Switch. Yeah. I agree. I want to switch for the classic Doom collection. It's a good collection. Especially if you get the physical. I'm also hyped for the Fast and Furious Arcade Edition. What is that? What do you mean Fast and Furious Arcade Edition? What are you talking about? Huh? Now you caught my attention. I got a lot of catching up to do. Arcade Edition. What is, like, is that on, like, are you talking about on console, or what do you mean, Bo? Fill me in. Fill me in. I'm out of the loop on that one. Let's see, what time is it? We got 10 minutes left. Chat. 10 minutes. AMA. Let's go. AMA right now. Hey, by the way, since nobody's watching this anyways, I'm gonna be giving away like a bunch of shit. Okay, like a couple of Ambernick handhelds, like a sticker set for an arcade one up. I know there's at least a couple more things. Oh, Evercade. I'm gonna give away an Evercade Tomb Raider collection physical. So the current new trailer came out yesterday. The current Fast and Furious coming to consoles in October. Oh, that's cool. Supercars and the original Fast and Furious are like arcade game are my two favorite ways to play that game. Supercars is basically what Arcade 1UP released on theirs. It's just a downgraded version of it. But if you play the original, like the Supercars actual arcade version, it's epic, 1080p, like just very fun to play. And then the original, the one that I used to have the sit down of, the Fast and the Furious with like the Vin Diesel, Paul Walker side art, is my other favorite one because they have such a badass roster of cars, and it's just a cool game. Like it's a very, very well done game. Yeah, I didn't know about it either. Do you have a Nintendo Power Collection? I do not have a Nintendo Power Collection. I swear, and this is like a weird Mandela thing, or I'm just old and have a bad memory. I used to have the Super Mario 2 one where he's like, you know, in claymation, like clay, whatever, jumping off the mushroom. And I don't know where it went. And I used to have the entire GamePro collection, but my ex ended up throwing that out years ago. So I don't have that anymore. Uh, um, so yeah, I don't have a lot of those. Ooh, I got these cool magazines. I do have to show you guys though before I hop off of here. It's the one with the dual monitor in arcades now. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. And it's like got the seat and then the monitors. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So yes, no, I don't. But yeah, we got 7 minutes left. AMA, guys, last minute AMA. Just go. I'm trying to think. I know there was something else that I was going to give away, but those are like the 4 major things that I can think of off the top of my head. 2 handheld consoles, the Tomb Raider collection on Evercade, and I forgot what the other thing was that I already said. When was the last time you legit raged while playing a game? I'm pretty sure it was a couple days ago. I was playing Centipede, and I think I was on like level 6, and I kept rolling into the spider when it would get like down on the screen, and I was like, and so it was like I was just like edging the roller up, like not deliberately, but it was the way I was moving it, and I kept like crashing into the spider. And yeah, and then actually a couple days before that, I was playing Dreamcast Mario Kart. If you go on my Twitter, you can see the clip, and you'll hear me in the background, and I don't know, I'm cussing because like I'm on, you know, the ghost level, the ghost track, and you know how that level is, and I hadn't played it in a while, so yeah. That was the last time I legit raged. And then like, you know, with the Centipede arcade one up, I'm like, and then I have to like slow down, and I can't actually bash it. I'm like self-control, because I'll just like crush it with my monster tranny strength. Can you still do Marine PT? Dude, my body and mind is trained to do these things. Even if I couldn't, I would do it. Even if I couldn't, I would. Man, I used to super slay my Marines though. When I was like a corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, even as a staff sergeant, I would still really slay my Marines. They hated it. Oxen says, I only had 1 issue of GamePro Mag, July 2001. Oh, man. I literally had every issue. So crazy to think of that. Thoughts on Sega Saturn? Sega Saturn. I mean, it's great. I love the Sega Saturn. I love the Sega Saturn mainly for its capability as a 32-bit 2D game console, I guess. And then for the 3D games that were like just perfectly done, like Knights, Panzer Dragoon. But there's games like Princess Crown, which is now fully translated, which are just like gems. And I still can't believe they didn't release that in English on PSP. I really thought they were going to, but it's fully translated now. And that's like, if you play RPGs, you need to play that game. My Sega Saturn puts out a cyan purple video signal. Oh, that sucks. You know, not so long ago, you could get one CIB from Japan for under $100. It's crazy. I don't know what they're going for now. But yeah, you know what? I love my Sega Saturn. And I love the fact that all the Capcom fighting games were the best on Sega Saturn, because PlayStation just was booty on, I would say, like 80% of the 2D fighters that came out on it. Sega Saturn at the end, when it came with Virtua Cop, Daytona Virtua Fighter 2 was dope. Yeah, their port of Virtua Fighter was really, I thought, disappointing. But obviously it was like the best one. And then they did the remix. I did get my, yeah. Oh, duh. Toxin. Mr. Japan. Because you're big in Japan. Daytona Netlink Edition is the only Sega Saturn North American game I don't have. Dang, dude, you got a hell of a collection then. I used to have before I joined the military, I had a massive Sega Saturn collection. Massive. And oh my God, you could get games for so cheap back then. Because it was just in that like flip-floppy time of like Virtual Boy, all that stuff. Everything was cheap, dirt cheap. You know, before people were really like collecting the stuff. Yeah, so I had a Sega Saturn that I had modded, and the mod chip for the Sega Saturn back then, this is before it was really hard to get mod chips, but it was just one tiny chip with like 3 or 4 wires, and like 4 soldering points. So easy to do. Do you have Gunbird? Oh, do you have Gunbird 2? With Morgan? Wait, Gunbird 2 came out on Saturn in North America? What? What? All right, any last minute questions? Chat, my friends. My friendzos. Any last minute questions? I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm going to say thank you guys for joining me this evening. And watch out for those guys getting greedy with this retro crap. And always remember, you can get a real Sega console, Tower of Power, for way cheaper than $2,500. Yeah, Gunbird, I think it was the first one. Gunbird 2 came out on Dreamcast, I thought. Gunbird 1, I think, was Japan only on Saturn. Gunbird 2 came out in the US for Dreamcast, I believe. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I have to go over here. I don't know why this thing doesn't show. Okay, I see. Yeah, Dreamcast. Anyway, it was great chatting with you guys. Good ranting, and I'm definitely gonna have to figure out like the scheduling for this whole live thing. But I actually spoke with someone. This is my last thing before I get off. I actually spoke with someone who said it might almost be a good idea to make another channel where you just do all your live streaming from. And I was like, I don't know though. This one's doing like, it's doing okay for how small it is, and like it's kind of niche. But my plan is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video is coming out actually soon. I kind of postponed it because I got busy, and because then I remembered like the whole Ninja Turtles anniversary thing. So it's gonna be out very soon. And then I'm gonna do a couple arcade videos specific to some stuff that I've worked on. And I think once I'm through that, then I'm gonna kind of start to fall into however I'm gonna do my schedule with live streaming, and then doing live streams and making content out of it, and then also still making content, but it'll be more manageable, I think, that way. So let us know when you stream again. Not just surprise. Hey, I posted about it yesterday and on Twitter. But yeah, you know what? I didn't go in the Discord though. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I'm like so detached too because the school year just started up again, so for those of you who are parents, you know exactly what I mean. Anyways, all right. Thanks guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great night and till next time. See you guys then. Peace.